Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News for Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. Stand up for your country. A lot of people ask me, oh, you do a podcast? And I go, no, we don't do a podcast. This is not a podcast. This is a broadcast, and it is different than what you see on linear television. It is on television, on DirecTV, on the First. We have distributors all over the place, but we're not owned by a corporation. We are an independent news agency. And when I designed this whole thing 8 years ago, I basically said, we're going to do a program that every day is a benefit to the people who watch us, not just for entertainment value, although we do provide some of that, but for increasing the power of the people. I feel like I'm in the 1960s. So power is needed in America. And you go, why? Why do I need power? Personal power. Why do I need that? To protect yourself, in case you get sick, in case you have a tragedy in your home, in case you have a financial setback. You need power. You need to gather as much assets, as many assets as you can. And we try to do that every night. Try to give you more information, better information, and steer you into situations that will give you more power. That's what the Smart Life segment's all about every night. Nobody else does that. You know, and I also have people come up to me and they go, oh, well, we miss you on TV. I know what they're saying. They still see me on TV, on YouTube and things like that, but they miss the linear slot at 8 o'clock, so where they could just click it and there it is. Okay, I understand the convenience of that. But if you are still living in that linear world, you're not gaining any power at all. Zero. There isn't one program, news program, on any of the networks, not one, that is designed to increase your personal power. Not one. Every single broadcast is designed to make money for a corporation. Or in the case of NPR and PBS, just spout propaganda out for ideological purposes. So I just want to get that. I've been thinking about that for a while. You know, when people don't know the real difference between a broadcast and a podcast, I got that. I mean, come on. Everybody thinks that there are podcasts all over the place, which there are. We're going to have a segment on that. A podcast gone wrong now winds up in court a little later on. Okay, let's get to the news. The Talking Points Memo is about the Monroe Doctrine. So everybody knows about the Monroe Doctrine, 1823. President James Monroe basically saying to all the European powers, hey, the Western Hemisphere is the United States of America's sphere of influence. You stay out. James Monroe, not particularly a macho man, not particularly a strong president, but here he dug in because they, in Washington, D.C., didn't want Britain coming back, or France, or Spain, or Portugal, or Holland, or whoever setting up shop here. All right, now they couldn't prevent it totally because there were colonies. You know, in South America, every country speaks Spanish except Portugal, except Brazil. They speak Portuguese, right? Why? Because Portugal ran Brazil. And all the other South American countries are run by Spain. And that's where the language difference comes. So Monroe basically said, hold it. We're going to take unilateral action if you get out of line. Now we have a lot of countries in this hemisphere getting out of line. Enter Donald Trump with the Monroe Doctrine. Very serious. Okay, there are 4 nations that are deeply involved in the drug trafficking. They are Mexico, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador. And they are killing those nations, millions of people all over the world. and hundreds of thousands here in America over the last 5 years. I'll give you the stats in a moment. So the President of the United States has moved the USS Gerald Ford, our largest strike carrier, to the Caribbean. And he has sent with that aircraft carrier 8 Navy surface ships, okay? 15,000 American troops. And the Air Force based out of Puerto Rico, flying round the clock US F-35 stealth bombers. This is serious business. And he sent in a message to all 4 of those countries, better knock it off. Now, in 2 of the countries, Venezuela, Maduro, and Colombia, it's got a left-wing president, the U.S. intel says those leaders are trafficking drugs. They're making money trafficking drugs. Okay? There's not that accusation against Sheinbaum in Mexico or Obrador before her, although Obrador, I'm telling you, shaky. But Sheinbaum, there is not that accusation. But she will not stand up to the cartels, which control more than a third of the country, outright control it. So there's no police, no military, it's cartels. Sheinbaum does nothing. She's afraid for her own personal safety. If I were her, I'd resign and I'd move someplace else, because you shouldn't be the president of a country if you're afraid of the criminal element. Come on. So it's up to the United States to do something about it, but many Americans don't want to. President Biden had no interest at all in this. None. He helped the drug cartels. He opened the border so they could make more money with the flood of narcotics coming in here, including fentanyl. Biden didn't care. Didn't care what they did. They ran wild for 4 years. Trump cares. And I talked about this with the president one-on-one in a dinner in his first term. And I said, the only way you're going to stop this is using the U.S. military. So President Trump designated the drug cartels as terrorists. That means he doesn't have to get congressional approval to take military action against them. And so far, 22 vessels have been blown out of the Caribbean Sea and the Pacific. 83 people at least dead. Democratic Party doesn't like it. Rand Paul, a Republican senator from Kentucky, doesn't like it. They want due process. Well, it's impossible. Due process doesn't work. It never works when you have international smuggling operations. So you either want to solve the problem or you don't. There's only one way to solve it, and that is to eliminate the terrorists who are running the cartels. And that's what is happening. Now, Americans are very, very slow to catch on. If you go out today after watching this broadcast and you say, hey, what about the Don Roe doctrine? Do you know what's going on? And everybody go, what? What? Because the networks and the cable are too busy reporting about Epstein, what might be there. Oh, yeah. No. Hey, we're setting ourselves up for a military conflict here. Nah. Come on, we ain't going to get Epstein. So the cartels in Mexico, they kill hundreds of thousands of people down there. And nobody is safe. They'll kill the governor and the mayor and the journalists and everybody. And the judges can't sentence them because they'll get killed. And not only do the cartels kill the people, they kill their families. Come on. By the end of 2023, in Venezuela, the blood was flowing because Maduro was, according to U.S. intel, working with the drug cartels. It was murder after murder after murder, and none of them solved. And the same thing in Colombia. Colombia, a country on the Caribbean Sea, all right, and then it does have a Pacific port. They get $15 billion. $15 billion a year they make from drug trafficking in Colombia. Ecuador has the highest murder rate in the Western Hemisphere. Do you know that? It once peaceful country, Galapagos, right off Guayaquil, now murder all everywhere. Okay. So that's where we are. And in America itself, we Americans spend more than $100 billion a year on illegal narcotics. 100 billion. We are the problem. We are enriching the cartels. 500,000 Americans at least have died from drug overdoses in the past 5 years. 500,000. Okay? And still, nothing being done about it. Some dealers are put in jail. Some. Not here in New York City. You can sell heroin on the street, you won't get anything. Drug addicts run wild. They sit there and inject themselves in front of school children. They steal, they shoplift, they prostitute themselves. They're homeless. Most of the homeless are drug addicted. They ruin neighborhoods. They pollute the environment. Nothing happens to them. Nothing. It used to be America would sanction those drug addicts. But now, progressive left, no, it's a disease. No treatment. Most of the drug addicts, according to every study, don't want treatment. They want to get high. They want to live their lives in a state of inebriation. That's what they want. And if they have to steal, they'll steal. Child abuse and neglect, because many of these drug addicts have children, off the chart. The state do anything. Once in a while, it'll take the kids away. And then where do the kids go? Some lousy foster home? Because the parents are high? It just drives me nuts, okay? Because this country is responsible for all of this horror. And if you're buying drugs, you are helping the cartel. Okay? So I expect Trump to continue to crack down. He's got 3 years left. He hates this stuff because his brother died of alcoholism, and I've had addiction and alcoholism in my family as well, and I hate this stuff. And I'm glad the president listened to me. When I had that conversation with him, in, 6 years ago? So one way, only way. And now it's happening, and that's a memo. America is more dangerous than ever. With violent crime on the rise, while you could rely on a firearm, using deadly force today can land you in court, costing you years and your life savings, trying to prove you acted in self-defense. FBI data shows 99.9% of all altercations do not require lethal force. That's why smart Americans are turning to Byrna. Proudly made in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Byrna's less lethal self-defense launchers are trusted by law enforcement, private security, more than 600,000 citizens. Byrna launchers fire kinetic rounds and powerful tear gas or pepper projectiles, able to stop a threat up to 60 feet away. No background checks, no waiting periods, delivered right to your door. Take control, be ready. Visit Byrna.com today. That's BYRNA.com, or head to your local Sportsman's Warehouse. All right, podcasts. 2 million podcasts in America. And we don't do a podcast, so if you're counting us, then you have to go down one. All right, many of them are irresponsible. They're just people spouting, saying whatever they want to say. They don't think there's any accountability. Well, there is now, because a lawsuit has been filed in New York State by a man named Robert O'Neill. Now, if you read my book, Killing the Killers, you know who Robert O'Neill is. He's a former Navy SEAL who is credited with killing Osama bin Laden in the raid on bin Laden's compound, May 2nd, 2011, Pakistan. Okay, we open Killing Killers. It is harrowing what happened in that raid. Robert O'Neill pulled the trigger and ended bin Laden's life. We checked it every way we could possibly check it. It's in the book. We believe it happened. Well, there's a podcast, two guys that say O'Neill's a fraud. He didn't kill bin Laden. Now, you've got to look at O'Neill's resume. 2 Silver Stars, 4 bronze medals, Joint Service Commendation Medal, 3 Presidential Unit Citations, 2 Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medals. I mean, the guy was in the Navy 16 years. He's one of the most decorated officers, Chief Petty Officer. And now these two are saying, nah, he's a fraud. So joining us now from New York City is Senior Chief Petty Officer Robert O'Neill, retired. Now, did I sum that up accurately? Did I miss anything or misstate anything?
No, thank you for that, Mr. O'Reilly. It's good to be back with you. The only little thing is all 4 Bronze Stars have valor. One of the Navy and Marine Corps commendations has valor. The Joint Service Commendation has valor. And Silver Stars do not come with valor. It's just assumed gallantry against the enemy. No, that was good. And it's the case, too. It's just like you said, with millions of podcasts, people can say whatever they want, and then there's really no accountability. And these guys have been coming after me for a solid 2 years now, and I've listened to it a bunch of times. I don't like hearing it. And I've heard stuff because this is a very high-profile mission. I was actually involved with the most high-profile missions, to include rescuing the lone survivor, Marcus Luttrell. I was the lead jumper to rescue Richard Phillips from Somali pirates, and I was the guy that ended up shooting Osama bin Laden. And I've heard stuff, and I do, from other veterans towards other veterans. I'm tired of the vet-on-vet hate. But when my college-age daughter started calling me, having trouble sleeping at night and going to bed crying because their father's a fraud, everything he did was a lie, it starts to get to me. And these are the same girls that one of my daughters was 3 when I left to go after Osama bin Laden. I wasn't allowed to tell her or my family where I was going. I was pretty sure I wasn't coming back. I was saying goodbye to her for the last time. And she ran upstairs, got a Hello Kitty carry-on, put Mr. Elephant and a pillow in it, and said, take me on vacation when you get back. That's enough to live with right there. We did come back and we lived. And then, 14 or however many years later, to hear it's all fake, it's all made up, and I'm a fraud. There is a time to stand up to bullies in everyone's life, and this is just my time, again, to go find the bully and win.
All right, what are you suing for?
Well, I'm suing them for defamation because they've been...
defamation, they're defaming your character, calling you a liar, and you're suing them. Why do you think these guys are doing it? There are 2 of them, right? Brent Tucker and Tyler Hoover. Those are the 2 guys you're suing?
Those are the 2 main guys. Brent Tucker in particular. He's a former operator at a Tier 1 unit for the Army, which is a stellar unit. I mean, it's almost surprising, too, that the unit is letting him be the face of the unit, but that's what they're doing. And I'm going after them because they're in talks with people behind the scenes that are just telling them different stuff. They're basing it on an after actions report that we gave after the bin Laden raid. And there was a guy who was actually just on Sean Ryan's show last week. He was on the raid, too. He based his book, No Easy Day, on the after-action report that isn't quite true. But he went on Sean Ryan's show and admitted that he shot bin Laden after he's dead. So the 2 things that were left out that I purposely left out of the after-action, one, Amal bin Laden was shot before I got there. She got shot somehow. And then other guys shot bin Laden after I had killed him. I left them out of that on purpose because a lot of stuff doesn't need to go in there.
All right, but that'll all be adjudicated in a court of law. What I'm trying to get at here is, why do these guys want to do this to you? There's enough evidence that says what you did happened. You got guys in your unit. You got the commander, because we checked all that out before we put it in Killing the Killers. Okay? So why would these guys want to go up against that? Is there a reason?
Well, I mean, there's got to be a reason. It's got to be peppered with jealousy, and some of it could be post-traumatic stress.
So you don't know these guys? You never talked to them? Never met them?
No, I've never met them. I was at my mom's house in Butte, Montana, and it came across one of my feeds where this guy, Brent Tucker, was saying, I know for a fact that Rob O'Neill did not kill bin Laden. And I even responded to him, which was a mistake because it gave him credit, or it gave him some eyes on. And I just said, I think my first response was, dude, I don't even know you.
Right.
And just to go without question, I know exactly what happened.
This is New York State. It's going to take you years to get this into the courtroom, and the lawyer fees and all that. You got a guy working pro bono on your behalf? Or you paying him, the lawyer?
Yeah, I've hired a firm to help me out. David Schwartz is helping me out, and we've gone through a lot of research. I've gotten I even got like you probably talked to Admiral Bill McCraven, who was overall in charge.
We talked
to Barack Obama. I've got a letter that he wrote from him, and I had to tell him as well. I don't want to do this. I would appreciate a letter. And he obviously said, well, of course I'll help you. And I said, what do I owe you? And he said, you already did it. And that's something about the
No,
nobility of him.
you're going to win. It's just going to take forever, and then this is New York State. Okay, they designed the whole civil legal system to enrich the attorneys, to keep it going for years and years and years. That's what they do. So, say at the end you win. These guys don't have money to pay you off big time. The two podcasters, they don't have anything.
Well, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna. I have the truth on my side, so I'm not worried. I don't think anybody wins. It's not like I want to do this.
No, all right, but I'm going in the legal system, so there's going to be a jury trial unless these two guys settle. I don't know. Maybe you would settle with them. I don't know. But there's going to be a jury, and they're going to say, no, this is all bull, and these guys attacked them, and they were malicious in doing it, and it's a defamatory system, so they got to pay Robert O'Neill this much money, which they're not going to be able to pay. So and correct me if I'm wrong, this just looks like you want a righteous action against what you believe is very wrong. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, that's very correct, Mr. O'Reilly, and it will also be a stand for the vet on vet. Hey, this is not. I am the first veteran they've attacked, but they've then gone on to attack everybody else. And part that bothers me too is they're really taking joy in watching them destroy other people.
I don't think you're going to be taking a lot of joy, Robert, when they have to show up in New York and hire defense attorneys and everything else.
Oh, I know.
They're not going to be so joyful about that. I mean, you're putting the wood to them.
I know, but you know what really made me decide that too is he got on his new podcast that he renamed as a positive thing. He did an hour and a half trashing me, and he said if I was lying about Rob O'Neill, he'd sue me. So here we are.
Okay. All right, we're going to follow the case. We, of course, admire your service. The story about your daughter is very troubling to me because I know that's true, and I know that people who are attacked in the public arena, their family gets crushed. And that alone is worth going after these people. So you keep us posted about what happens. Mr. O'Neill, thank you very much for everything you've done for this country. And we'll talk again soon, okay?
All an honor, and thanks for having me, Mr. O'Reilly.
Let's face it, the U.S. economy is under stress. National debt rising, trade war shaking the markets. And meanwhile, China is dumping the dollar and stockpiling gold. That's why I protected my savings with physical gold and silver through the only dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. And you can do this. Get precious metals delivered to your door or place in a tax-advantaged gold IRA. They'll even help you roll over your existing IRA or 401k, tax and penalty-free. With billions in precious metals delivered, thousands of five-star reviews, and an A+ from the Better Business Bureau, you can trust American Hartford Gold as I do. Please call 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Again, that's 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. The cost of everything still rising, and many of us are relying on credit cards to cover essentials. If that debt is piling up, you're not alone. Americans now owe more than $1 trillion in credit card debt. You may have thought about calling American Financing, but hesitated because you don't want to lose your low mortgage rate. Well, good news, they created the Smart Equity Loan. It lets you tap into your home's equity without touching your current mortgage. Unlike a home equity line of credit, this loan has a fixed interest rate and one predictable monthly payment. No upfront or hidden fees. It only takes 10 minutes to get started, so please call 888-462-9557 or visit americanfinancing.net/bill. Final thought of the day, as you know, we're out in L.A. Recently. I did a bunch of stuff, Maher and Billy Bush and Howie Mandel. Now, Howie Mandel is a podcast. Howie Mandel Does Stuff. He's on it with his daughter, who's very liberal. and I had to explain capitalism to her. Roll it. So there is a pathway to success in capitalism. That means that you isolate your talent. So I've always loved your father's humor. I don't know why, there's something wrong with me, but he just cracks me up.
It's
I
dad
went
jokes.
to see him.
Dad jokes.
I went to see him.
Somebody thinks it's
You guys.
Yeah,
Were
I
you-
went to
somebody
see
said-
him at Westbury.
Why didn't you come back and say hi?
I did, but you were so stoned you didn't know it was me.
Were you? You might have
he's
been.
lying.
You might
He's-
have been.
he's
No.
lying.
I did greet him, and then he acknowledged me on the stage, but he just makes me laugh because his timing is perfect. All right, and I'm a pro.
Great. I'm amazing.
And
Go ahead.
You love this interview.
It's the best interview ever.
Just
When-
keep complimenting him.
when
yeah.
I was walking into the theater at Westbury, everybody knows me, and they go, "Oh, why are you coming to see Howie?" I go, "Because the guy's blank and funny." All right, so, but there's more to it than that. So he knew that he was born, that God gave him this sense of humor. Okay, and he paid the price to work his way up to affluence and prominence. That's capitalism. All right, so we had a good time with the Mandels. I think you will too. Howie Mandel Does Stuff. It is a legitimate podcast. I hope you watch it. And he actually read Confronting Evil. He told me he doesn't read many books, but he was enthralled by evil. So I thank Howie and his daughter for putting up with me. And I thank you for watching this edition of the No Spin News. I'm Bill O'Reilly. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today.